super cool and interesting. It's what everyone always wanted to see. They all say it. Everyone knows LotRO is the most interesting game to watch on Twitch.
In the year 3434 of the Second Age, a great alliance of elves and men
Slash UI
assembled in
layout
defiance of the Dark Lord's will
load.
to conquer all the lands of Middle-earth. The High Elves, the Blessed of Valinor, who suffered the greatest wraths of Sauron and Morgoth the enemy, now seek to ensure that his evil is forever banished from the world.
Okay. Now hopefully the text-to-speech is working.
My dearest friend, as Sauron
And of
surely
course it'll be the
knows,
narrator voice for right
Yalenfey,
now.
you seemed as if lost in a trance, and I could not rouse you until this very
Oh, really?
moment. My dearest friend, do not allow the enemy to cloud your thoughts with visions of defeat. As Sauron surely knows, the mastery is ours in this battle. Alas, a cornered foe is the most deadly, and there are none more treacherous than the enemy in this realm. We must put our troubles behind us for the moment, and press our advantage.
Unfortunately, most of this is not even like voiced or anything. A lot of it doesn't even have the quest boxes, so you can't even get the text-to-speech. Just gotta read the words over their heads. It's like the most interesting intro. Only the high elves get it. But there's no voices. It's cool to see Gil-galad, Elendil. It, yeah, I noticed it's a little low on the FPS side at the moment. I think this intro spot is always kind of a little low FPS though.
With Sauron's demands rejected, we can no longer hold hope that the Gwytherein shall stay their hands in this battle.
Salandrith. Before the Nine arrived, I sent forth the Spears of Lindon, with a garrison of elves and men. With Sauron's demands rejected, we can no longer hold hope that the Gwytherin shall stay their hands in this battle. You know the spears as Theleron, Megaril, and Durnaith, my friend, and they have stood by my side through many great battles against Sauron, and the most terrible of his servants. Ere they departed, they swore to cross the enemy's trenches and dismantle their siege equipment. It is true enough that catapult shot has not hit our position in some time, but the wider front has been brought to ruin by those very tools. You must now be my scout and my messenger. Learn what has become of their garrison, and if any of them yet live, deliver to them a message of hope. The Alliance marches upon the Black Gate, and no evil man or orc shall stand in the way of our victory over Sauron.
One of the Gwytherein rode westward and scattered our numbers. The other, he took Theleron.
Speak quickly, friend, for our foes surge from the east. You tell Durnaith of your encounter with the Gwytherin, and deliver the High King's message. The Gwytherin, 2 of their number, passed through our garrison from the north. One rode westward and scattered our numbers, but the other, he took Theleron. In the midst of battle, he caught Theleron's sword arm in a cruel coil of rope and dragged him eastward by his fell steed. I could not follow through the mass of orcs. I failed him. I failed the High King, but still I must fight on.
Much fight on.
Aid the wounded in the field, and let us hope that the Alliance
Hail,
shall
Zalandrith,
arrive
I am
to drive
Megaril of
off
Lindon.
enemy's forces.
How fare the battles to the north? You tell Megaril of your encounter with the Gwytherin, and deliver High King Gil-galad's message. If we shall truly strike at the Black Gate this day, the Alliance must soon come hither. We did as the High King commanded and brought the enemy's weapons to ruin. But when the Gwytherin appeared, they slew many of our number and divided our forces upon the Daggerlad. The faces by which I once knew the Gwytherin when they first took the rings have long faded, but this one I knew by his blade. The Cursed Rider he is called, and he goaded his steed onward over the backs of elf, man, and orc alike. Regrettably, we were forced into retreat before we could aid many of them from the field of battle. We struggle to hold the only path over the great trenches, and the enemy's forces have brought forth more trebuchets and ballistae upon the Daggerlad. Aid the wounded in the field, and let us hope that the Alliance shall arrive to drive off the enemy's forces.
The prince is fortunate to have survived his father's attack on the Black Gate, but the Guatharan's words trouble me.
The prince is fortunate to have survived his father's attack on the Black Gate, but the Guatharan's words trouble me. The rider spoke a name in Quenya ere he departed, Ungwetderi, the Spider Queen. Ungoliant is gone from this realm, and shall trouble the world no longer, but her children remain, preying on anything they can devour and spreading her darkness through Middle-earth. One among them must now hunger as she did, without a care for the powers of the Dark Lord, and without any purpose other than to consume. These are unhappy tidings, my friend, even if it seemed fortuitous that the great spiders turned upon the rider. If we do not face this child of Ungoliant in the war, it is certain that the day will come when her hunger shall seek to sate itself beyond the shadows of Mordor. The High King gave me leave to pursue you at the urging of the Spears of Linden, but he has called for your return at once. The Alliance has come to the forward garrison at last. Reunite with them there, Zalandreth, and make ready for our assault on the Black Gate.
Our paths are now divided, dear friend. May the light of the
Tam,
Valar
glad to
shine
see you
upon
again,
us.
Zalandreth. Durnaeth and Megaril have told me of Theleron's capture, and I am troubled by such grim tidings. The Dark Lord would not have soon forgotten the wounds he suffered at our hands, and I fear what form his vengeance might take. Even now, as I wish to abandon my duty, I cannot turn my eyes from the Black Gate at such a crucial hour. Thus I give you this mission of dire importance. You must find Theleron, and you must save him from the Gwetherin. As for the Alliance, one of Durin's folk has devised a cunning plan to draw the attention of the Dark Lord's forces and allow for a swift strike against the Black Gate. In truth, I know not if this plan shall bear fruit, but we must conquer the gate if Sauron is to be defeated. T would ask that you speak to Sluggar the Crafty. He is an honorable enough dwarf, despite chosen title. Once you have done as he asks, pursue the Gwatherin and rescue Theleron. Our paths are now divided, my friend, but let us hope each of them lead to victory. May the light of the Valar shine upon us.
At your service. Or perhaps you...
At your
are
service,
mine.
Zalandreth, or perhaps you are at mine. Have you considered how the enemy's trenches never seem to stop burning? Well, I have. Sluggar gestures to the pile of barrels beside him. These barrels are filled with a crude black powder that explodes when exposed to flame. Not only that, but it burns for hours afterward. Aye, if it were more useful in stonework, I think Durin himself would have us steal some away. The Dark Lord's Black Riders, the damned ringwraiths as the men call them, they're wily enough, but these goblins are none too bright. They've left the barrels right next to their own ballistae and catapults. Why don't you set some of them off? That ought to put an end to their siege and draw their attention long enough for the Alliance to reach the Black Gate. Just make sure you don't stick around once you light them.
Uh-huh. You cannot defeat me.
Your tale troubles me, my friend. For
Zalendrith,
Alroth spoke of
I
a
am
terrible
gladdened by this
fate
reunion, but there is little
Narrative
else to
hung across
celebrate.
his steed.
The High King sent me and my company eastward to learn what had become of the elves of Lorien. But alas, only Prince Amroth remains upon the field. His father and the others were routed to the north, but where they have gone, we cannot follow. The prince is injured, but he will heal in time. To must ask, though, why have you come? You tell Harthalin of the
Whenever it
task
says
given
I,
to you
it
by the
always,
High
like,
King himself, and of
goes like,
Theleron, the lost spear of Linden taken
instead of
by
saying
one
I,
of
it
the
goes to.
Gwytherin. Your tale
To must
troubles me,
ask, though.
for Amroth spoke of a terrible figure that passed with an ELF slung across his steed. I may grow short for Theleron, my friend.
An ELF.
I think it is time we learned more of what the prince saw.
Definitely not perfect.
If the Witch King has taken Theleron to the Overlook,
When my company came
we
to Prince
must
Amroth's
pass through
aid,
the
I heard a
easterly
great
encampment
cry,
ahead.
and a thunder like flapping wings from above. It sounded like some terrible flying creature as great in size as the eagles. I could not spy it through the smoke, but I am certain it lurked beyond my sight. I do not know if this creature is a servant of Sauron's, but its presence makes me fear all the more for Theleron. Toot the Witch King has taken him to the Overlook. We must pass through the Easterling encampment ahead. The men of the East have grown arrogant behind Sauron's might, and they have left a small passage in their encampment open to the woodlands. Follow me, and we shall sneak in and avoid the dangers of approaching their gate upon the road.
Didn't realize I had the music turned down. Forgot how loud the combat music can be though. I went a little too far forward on that one. Can it be? Alright, whatever.
It brings me great joy to see you upon your feet once more, my friend.
It brings me great joy to see you upon your feet once more, Zalandrith. After you fell, we attempted to heal you upon the battle plain, but the Witch King of Angmar had dealt you a grievous injury, one unlike any dealt to our peoples before by the hands of the Dark Lord. The decision was made to return you to Imladris, far from the lands of the enemy. You suffered for years in restless agony as my healers worked to free you of the evils that lingered in your wound. When the war was ended, I returned to aid them and learned much of healing the foul wounds of Moril Steel. When at last you could rest, you did so for many long years. Despite my efforts, your strength has diminished greatly. It may take a great time, but I believe you shall again know the power that lies within you. As for the task given you by Gil-galad, do not consider it a failure, Zalingstreth. None could have foreseen the enemy's malice in sending his Nazgûl to seize Theleron. Tragically, he was never found, even after Barad-shir itself was brought to ruin. It wounded Gil-galad greatly to lose you both in the war, and it is said that his light was dimmed through all the battles that followed. Even so, he did not falter before the enemy. No, you did not fall in vain, my friend. Our victory on the battle plain that day bore fruit. Indeed, Sauron resisted our assaults for 7 years in the Dark Tower, but in the end he was cast down by Gil-galad and Elendil. Elendil's son Isildur cut the ring from Sauron's finger, destroying the Dark Lord and banishing him from this realm. Alas, there is more to be said on these matters.
Much has changed since we last traveled together from Imladris, my friend.
It is unfortunate to hear of Hithgol's continued ills, but I hold hope he shall soon recover, as you have, Zalandraith. You see, when the battle came at last to Barad-dûr, Sauron himself felled Hithgol with a deadly blow, and it seemed only by the grace of the Valar that he was not at once ended. Even still, the steel of the Dark Lord's weapons was tainted in much the same way as the blade that pierced you, and he has suffered its effects as you did for many long years. Now then, we have spoken enough of the past. Let us turn our minds to the days ahead. Much has changed since we last traveled together from Imladris, my friend. It seems now an age of men, and I sense the time of the elves in Middle-earth draws near to its end. Indeed, many have departed this realm for the uttermost west by the ships of Círdan, our friend of old. He is now called the Shipwright by those who know his works, and he dwells in Mithlond with the few that still remain in his service as skilled crafters. Much of the wood used by Círdan is ferried to Mithlon by way of the port of Celandim along the arid Luin, and it is there you must journey to reach the havens. Zalendrith, I have gathered your belongings and a few supplies for your journey. I have set your ring in its case upon the table across the room, and your armor rests in a chest at your bedside. It is still marked from battle, but time has not worn it elsewise. Indeed, the passing of an age has dimmed only our light and given rise to the shadow in the east. Concerning such matters, I have also prepared for you a tome of writings on the history of the Third Age thus far. You are free to claim them ere you depart. Once you are prepared, we shall speak more of your journey to Celandim.
Eladon and Elrohir are to follow an expedition to the ruins of Edthelion, and they shall see you to Kelandil in the course of their travels. Eladon and Elrohir are to follow an expedition to the ruins of Edthelion, and they shall see you to Kelandil in the course of their travels.
I don't remember that part being like that. I think that's meant to be like down here.
I am certain Father has told you all about the journey ahead.
So Father has at last given you leave to travel from Imladris, Salandrith. I must say I am excited to learn more of the battles of ages past from you. Father told us not to bother you with so many questions, but this is likely our last chance, is it not? Tam's certain Father has told you all about your journey ahead, but do not worry, the matter of his dream need not trouble you. Besides, the journey to Solondum shall give us time enough to speak on other matters. I would think the events of the past 3,000 years would be of some interest to you. My brother and I stand ready to set out for the Arid Luin. If you are prepared, we shall depart at once.
Depart at once. Alright, so first thing, hit up the difficulty guy.
Stay a moment.
Put it on Fearless. Then we bring up the store. Maybe. I said we bring up the store. There we go. Forget what it's called exactly. What is it? Character? No. XP. Experience Disabler. XP disabled.
Could I speak with you a moment?
Ah, a patron of distinction, welcome indeed. Happen to have some items that might enhance your adventures, and you are quite welcome to them.
Kite.
Even in the bleakest wilderness, you can use these fine items to call on all the services found in the finest of towns. Keep your equipment in tip-top shape, and craft with great speed. This is a repeatable quest that Vu have never completed.
Why is it so wrong all the time?
What can I do for you?
Very weird. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I guess it's using her voice now.
You arrived in Celandim with the Sons of Elrond 1 month ago, and the time soon approaches to sail to Mithlond. However, Elrond's decision to offer you a choice of whether to leave Middle-earth or remain to aid